friend, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah, this is Brown Family Goods. You see, we are outside today. I'm doing a little bit of refreshing of my pots outside, my green stalk planters outside, all kinds of outdoor beautification today, if you will. And I thought I would bring you along with me because we haven't really done anything outside in quite a while. It is very apparent in the fact that I have empty pots everywhere. I ran through the nursery yesterday, grabbed a bunch of stuff, and I thought we would get it potted up and planted today. Grabbed some things that I really like, especially for the fall. So I thought we would just put them out today and spend a little time together outdoors. I tend to just kind of reuse pots and things because a lot of the planters that I'm going to be putting this in, you just need to set the pot down in it, so it's not like the full planter itself. So I took some things out of this. I have a bucket down here beside me with the trash plants that I've kind of pulled out of these, so I'm going to refill them with some fresh stuff. I'm also going to be putting into my pots at this time some of this systemic kind of pest and fungus control, because I've noticed a lot of white flies on my plants recently, especially one specific plant over there. It's called a Confederate Rose. We cut it back earlier this summer. It was completely covered in white flies. Well, it's grown back, which is great, but the white flies are also back. So I went through this morning early in the day and I sprayed for white flies on that Confederate Rose. And I also sprayed some of the plants that I just picked up yesterday because they already had some white flies on them too. So hopefully all this stuff is going to do well. We'll see how it does. But I think that this is going to be another good measure of control for the white flies and other things that kind of take and eat on your plants. Anyway, let's jump right in. I'll show you a few of the plants that I bought and how I'm going to put them out. Just show you a few things that I bought here. I have my right-hand pets with me out here. Of course, Sheldon, the cat. And Millie's out here too because she is never far from my side. Hopefully she'll lay down here in a second. We'll see. But a few things that I bought are some herbs. So my green stalk, I had a bunch of herbs in earlier this season. And those, some things live, some things die once it gets too hot here. But now the weather is going to be really starting to cool down. And I feel better about putting a few more things back into the green stalk now that the weather is starting to break a little bit for us. So instead of being in the 90s to 100, we're in the 85s to 90s at this point. So that's a lot easier on the plants, I will tell you that. So anyway, I bought some parsley, a couple of pots of that, a couple of things of rosemary. This is some more dill because I do like to have it. It goes to seed really, really quickly here for us because it is so warm. This is a nice purple sage. One more parsley here. I've got a bunch of other stuff. Oh, here's some more stuff down below. I forgot that I put down here. So this is a variegated sage here. We'll put it in the green stalk. These are something that does so well here. It's called Indian feather. I think it's also called like Gara. But it does really well here too, and it sends out really beautiful stalks of pink flowers. So I'm going to put this somewhere. I grabbed two of them because sometimes shell brown. Move along, sir. Sometimes of year they have this out and other times they don't, but I like this size because it looks really compact at the moment. I believe this one was on a clearance rack and it is so cute. Love the orange flowers on it. It's called Orange Marmalade Chrysandra. This is an annual. It says it probably will live for us throughout the winter. So this is going to get tucked into one of the pots somewhere or another. Up here, I have some dianthus. I love this. It does really, really well for us. So I got a white and I got this beautiful red one. These are a couple of 6-packs of snapdragons. Can't even remember what color I got. This one's called Speedy Sonnet Bronze. And then the other one, I believe, is yellow. Yeah, yellow. A couple of marigolds. You can see probably the white flies coming off already, and I just sprayed these things, so hopefully they're going to die down. Look at that. They are so bad. So I just grabbed a couple of marigolds because of course those always do well, but I'm so excited. I love new plants. I love them. This one was on clearance because it's sort of not the best season for that. They usually put these out. What is this one called? Creeping Jenny. I love this. I absolutely love it. I usually have a bunch of it. This year I didn't buy any because They're so overpriced sometimes. You know, when things start to get popular, then they really hike the price up on it. And I was like, no. Earlier this year, I remember looking at it and thinking, no, I'm not paying $8.99 for a little pot of this. So I believe this one was on clearance, which it'll be fine once it's planted out and kind of revived. I'll cut it back a little bit when I plant it out, and it'll come back really, really nicely, because that's something that does great for us. Up here you see I got a bunch of pots. These two were up front, and they're going to go back up front in front of our garage. This one has, I'll have to look it up, I'll put it on the screen, but this has been here all summer. I will leave this in there. I'll just cut back all of these spent blooms here, and these are all seeds that are in here, so sometimes I'll just sprinkle them down below and mix them into the soil, and some of them will sprout at some point, so that'll be good too. But this I'll fill up with a few other things, same with this one, and it will go back up front in the planters. I'll show you those in a bit. I'll show you what I have over here, because this stuff that was in these two planters of course died long ago in the hot summer. So what I did was I just put these, this is of course fake, and so for the time being I just had these in there, because there's no point in trying to put out a bunch of new things in the dead of summer, because it's just a waste of money. You're not going to be able to water enough and keep up here. So they have just had these little fakies in there, which look cute enough, but at this point I have lots of things that I'm going to put in here. So let me show you a few more. These are Alan's favorite. He loves crotons. So we're going to put these up front in front of the garage, because those are his absolute favorite. He always wants to buy those because they're so pretty. They always die, but they'll be really pretty for now, especially into the fall and cooler months. They'll stay nice for a while, so that'll be good. This one I know I grabbed on the clearance. What is that one even called? Red Fire Spike is what it says. So it'll have some little red flowers on it at some point. I got it because of its height, basically. So at somewhere I will put that probably over there by the door where I had that hydrangea, and that'll give some good height to whatever else I put in with that pot. I love these. I buy them every year. These cute ornamental peppers. They absolutely look so cute and different in the fall and winter months here. They stay really nice because at least they have some color, you know, to them. So these are really, really cute, and we'll mix them into some pots as well. Now let me show you how the green stalks are doing. So this one here I used earlier this year for like vegetable plants and things like that, and herbs. And I put a few flowers in there, some salvia, and you see, here's the wonderful thing about salvia, at least here, it drops millions of tiny seeds. So all of the salvia that you see in here is just from seeds that another one has dropped earlier this spring or summer, because look at all these are little seed heads here, and they drop tons of seeds, and then they just start to grow by themselves. So that's great. But you see on here, there's just tons of empty pockets for all of the things that have, you know, come and gone already. This is one tomato plant that's hanging on for dear life. I cut it way back up here. This was like a cherry tomato plant. I cut it way back up here, and this is all new growth that's on it now. You can see the white flies coming off of it as I shake it. Again, I sprayed it earlier, and let's hope that it does something. I've cut back this salvia probably 5 times already, and because once it blooms like this, then you can cut it back, and it will shoot off a new bloom from another spot. So it does so well. The hummingbirds absolutely die over this. They're on it constantly when it has new fresh flowers on it. So I try to keep it where it's just blooming constantly. We've got hummingbirds like crazy, which I absolutely love as well. This is oregano here. Look at how great it's doing. And I have cut this back probably 10 times throughout the spring and summer. There's another pocket of oregano down there, and I just chop it. I just chop it like down here, and then it comes back again. So this is the pretty variegated time. Again, I have cut this one repeatedly, and it comes right back as well. So take as much as you want. It seems like it does great. Most of the other things in here is just salvia. This is some newer growth salvia, and this is ones that are already bloomed. But these will have pretty blooms on them any moment now. On the other back side, not much else other than a little bit more oregano growing back there. So that is that one, and we're gonna refill it today with either herbs or flowers, something, or combination of both. And then my other green stalk is still just going crazy. It kind of had a really big slowdown, and then I cut a bunch of stuff back, and here it comes back again. So it's really nice to have those cycles of all the growth in there. But you see also into this one, there's lots of pockets that need something in them too. So I went through a few weeks ago. All I could find at that time was some vincas. So I just grabbed some vincas. I think I grabbed them at Home Depot, and I put some vincas in some of these lower spots, and they do great here too. They just go crazy here in Louisiana. They love hot weather, so that's good for them. But they've done really good in the green stalk. I still have some geraniums that I planted early this year. Coleus, all of this coleus, different color ones, I started from seed. Feels like forever ago, it seems like. Way early in the spring. So I just continue to, when it gets flowers on it like this, I'll let it flower for a little while, but then I'll cut that spot back, and then it shoots off some new growth in another spot as well. So over here is some nice dianthus. This was looking puny just a little while ago, but now it looks gorgeous again. So all I do for my green stalk is, of course, water. Look at these petunias. They are absolutely out of control. Water, of course, but then from time to time, I will go through and fertilize it with some Miracle Grow too. Since it's just flowers, I am happy to use Miracle Grow on it. It does great, and it really doesn't need much else. Turn it, I guess, also I turn it from time to time so that the sun gets to it evenly, because it really does make a difference. But it looks beautiful. All right, well, I thought we would just chit chat a little bit while I'm planting some of this stuff out. I really love to do this type of thing, especially when I can just take a relaxing day. And on this week in particular, I felt that I really did need a relaxing day. We had kind of a wild week on this week. My dog Zeus was a little bit sick. He had recently gotten a shot for pain, and it gave him this big breakout of spots all over him. Well, then he took a steroid, and that meant he was drinking water and peeing all the time. So that meant that I was having to be around, let him out the door constantly. So that was a little bit stressful for me, number one. And then the second thing is, on the day, 2 days before I made this video, our right next door neighbor had a house fire. The house was struck by lightning, and it went up really, really quickly. And it was so scary, quite frankly. I was home. I noticed it. I immediately ran outside. I'll show you a few pictures as I'm chit-chatting with you about it. But the house just went up in an instant. It was so wild, and it just scared me. It was like not necessarily in my mind, but in my body. So I was feeling extremely anxious for the few days after that. So that's why I decided, okay, I'm going to do something that makes me happy and get some plants, do some work out here outside instead of fretting over the house and how scary it was and all of that stuff. But only a couple weeks before the person that was living there moved out, the house was about to be put for sale. but certainly it was still a very, very scary moment having something like that happen right in front of my very eyes. It was really, really scary. So anyway, you see in this big pot, I found a giant branch, I would say. I'm not sure. I assume I put that in there because I would have been the one that filled this pot up with soil and everything, so I probably put it in there just to take up some room. The plant that I had in here before actually died. It got a disease and died. It was some sort of hydrangea, and it did really, really well for quite a while, and then it just died. So it didn't seem like it could be saved. All the things that I would try to do for it, it wouldn't be revived. So anyway, I took that big stick out of there. You know, it could be taking nitrogen from the soil or whatever, trying to break down. So I got that out of there before I put anything else in. And the dogs admired it. Both of them really were like, ooh, what is this nice stick you got here? And so there's Clark and Zeus. Don't forget we have Moose too, but he is just not up and down as much anymore, and certainly not in and outside as much anymore. He's slowing down quite a bit these days. I put those crotons in 2 of the larger size pots that I have, and I'm actually going to put those up in front of our garage. We've got 2 cedar planters that Alan built for us, so those will just set right into that, and that'll look really cute for fall. And then these other 2 I'm going to put beside my outdoor furniture here with the little ornamental pepper plants. I mixed in marigold into each pot, snapdragon, and some of the dianthus as well. So they don't look like a whole lot at the moment when you plant them, but they will fill out as they grow in and everything. So 3, 4 plants in one pot, and everything will come together really, really well. So I love doing stuff like this. I just take a mixture of plants and things that I like, some things that are color, have color blooms, some things that don't, and just mix them all up and see how it goes. I just came down here to the greenhouse because I'm like, do I have any nicer pots? I wanted to check and see. And I opened the door. I haven't been in here in months, literal months. Open the door. I have to show you what I found in here. Gomphrena, just growing through the crack here. I'm sure some seeds fell in there, but look how well it's growing. I mean, it is dry as a bone in here. That's hilarious. This stuff loves to grow. Just growing in the dirt in the crack there. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to leave it. Maybe I'll try to remember to bring some water in here from time to time. But I do have one pot there, so I'm happy for that. And I'll probably bring this baby out here, throw it in the compost, and use the pot because that's a pretty pot. Alright, I've started on this purple one. I've been really wasting a lot of time, you guys. I'm standing there talking to my neighbor for like an hour. But what are Saturdays for, So I added in a couple of things here already. I did this parsley. I did that variegated sage up here. I popped that little tiny dill plant in here. Hopefully it's going to take off with the fertilizer and stuff I put in there. I put a parsley underneath here as well. So I try when I add new stuff to consider like how shaded out it would be. So some of these pockets, like this one, is empty as well, but I'm not going to put anything new in there because it would just be too shaded by this big oregano that's here. Now, of course, I could cut this back, but it's going to grow back. I know it is. So I'm just going to leave that one for now. Leave it vacant. I have several other pockets here that could use some stuff. And what do I have left? Let's put the 2 rosemary in the top pockets, and then the purple sage in one of the lower ones. And then this purple one will be done. all done. Whew. That was quite a day, although it was just kind of taking my time, so it probably didn't have to take that long, but it definitely did. So it took several hours for me to get all this stuff planted out, but I actually cleared my cart of stuff. I have 2 things left, those 2 pink Gora, whatever they call those now, I'm not sure. But I have those 2 left. I have a place for those. I'll put them down below, not up here in my planters. So all I'm gonna do is clean up, and then I will show you everything, because you see I make quite a mess when I put in all the potting soil and everything out. Basically, I'll just use the blower and blow all of that away. So once I get everything cleaned up, I'll come back through and show you how it all turned out.